6 years ago, the administration unilaterally chose to engage in warrantless surveillance of American citizens without court review.
All right, here's that cell phone story you've been waiting for. Cell phone users beware, Big Brother may be listening. The Federal Bureau of Investigation can now hear everything you say, even when the cell phone is turned off.
After September the 11th, our government assumed new responsibilities to strengthen security at home.
This is no reason to hand Big Brother the keys to unlock our email diaries, open our ATM records, and read our medical records or translate our international communications.
The question is, under what protections of American liberty will we conduct the necessary surveillance and the necessary spying?
We've passed a new anti-terrorism law.
We have violated the civil liberties of all the American people.
I, George Walker Bush,
do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
And will to the best of my ability.
And will to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
An attack on one is an attack on all.
It's an illegal search and seizure when we're followed without committing a crime. And we've gotten to a point where, under the pretense of preventing every crime possible, they are taking every one of our freedoms away.
The tragedy of 9/11 was not just that those buildings came down. The tragedy is that we so quickly surrendered to things that define us. And when you ask, well, did Al-Qaeda change America? No, it would have been even better if they had done it. It's much worse that we've done it.
In the aftermath of 9/11, the administration scrambled to try and assert all resources possible to try and find out who was trying to kill us.
Give us a weekend to read it, and let's take it up Monday morning. Hey, I'll come in and vote at 7 o'clock on Monday morning if it's that urgent.
It's become common knowledge that no one in the U.S. House of Representatives read the USA Patriot Act before allowing the bill to be signed into law. What's less known about this controversial piece of legislation is who wrote it. The USA Patriot Act was authored by one man, a Mr. Viet Dinh, a self-proclaimed attendant to freedom. Mr. Dinh was born in communist-controlled Saigon, Vietnam. When he was only 7 years old, his father would be arrested and placed in a re-education camp. 8 years later, the family would be reunited in the United States, the country that they now call home. Mr. Dinh would graduate magna cum laude from Harvard University in 1990. He served as special counsel to Senator Pete Domenici for the impeachment trial of President Clinton. And in 2001, when the Patriot Act was drafted, Mr. Dinh would be the Department of Justice's head of the Office of Legal Policy, directly advising President Bush on constitutional matters pertaining to these new laws. Although the official number released from the Department of Justice put the count around 500, an estimated 5,000 people have been unconstitutionally detained by this country under provisions of the USA Patriot Act, making it legal to arrest and detain persons without the involvement of attorneys, the need for probable cause, or the filing of formal charges. How did this draconian law get passed in the first place? It's very simple. We were scared, and we were helpless.
Do you believe, first of all, that they will be successful in bringing these markets back Monday?
We do not have any evidence that links the anthrax case in Florida to the New York matter.
Osama bin Laden may just be part of a global tentacle, that there may be many more organizations and countries involved.
The USA Patriot Act encompasses 30 years of spying legislation, and not the good kind. These were laws that the Congress had declared unconstitutional for over 30 years because they violate core American principles and the Constitution. But after September 11, a helpless and frightened Congress would take the first steps in allowing Viet Dinh's USA Patriot Act to invade the lives of every single American. While it's not a crime for someone outside of Congress to author legislation, especially related to special needs, it is not proper constitutional procedure for a bill that has been hammered out with conference of both parties and in both houses to be switched in the early morning hours with a bill prepared by lawyers from the executive branch. The original Patriot Act was drafted and agreed upon by both Republicans and Democrats, and by both the House and the Senate. But at the very last minute, the original version was switched with the White House-approved Viet Dinh version of the bill. Under the cover of darkness, the president would have his substitute bill printed at 3:45 a.m., only hours before the House vote scheduled for that same morning. Out of 435 representatives, not one person would read the USA Patriot Act before voting in favor of this substitute bill.
This is still warm. It just came off the Xerox machine. This isn't the bill that was adopted by a unanimous 36 vote of Democrats and Republicans of the Judiciary Committee. These are critical issues. This is what we're fighting for. These are our civil liberties.
The question becomes, did a unanimous number of U.S. representatives violate their oath of office by blindly signing off on a 300-plus page bill they had never seen before, much less read?
Frankly, these members of Congress did not hesitate to pull the trigger on civil liberties. I mean, even though Congress is in control of the Republicans, take a look at the votes. Most of these things passed with huge Democratic support.
These constitutionally fatal bills would be contrived and set into motion equally by both political parties, and the ideology of their attacks would be defended to its death.
To those who scare peace-loving people with phantoms of lost liberty, my message is this: your tactics only aid terrorists.
There are 27 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Of those, the first 10 amendments are known as the Bill of Rights, our most guarded freedoms, set in writing and signed by true patriots to the United States of America. This law decimates our Bill of Rights. The USA Patriot Act passed overwhelmingly in both the House and the Senate, giving the Bush administration full authority under the law to violate the most fundamental principles outlined in our Bill of Rights, the right to privacy. America's right to privacy ended on October 26, 2001, with the signing of this bill. First Amendment. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. The Patriot Act requires that librarians turn over the reading records of the library's patrons at the unwarranted request of the FBI. Cooperation is mandatory, and under penalty of imprisonment, the librarian may not reveal the existence of the FBI's request. What happened to our basic right to privacy if we can no longer read a book or scan the internet in this country without Big Brother taking a sneak peek over our shoulders? The terrorists know this law exists. Are we to believe that this law actually catches would-be terrorists?
One of the things I think is most concerning there is when the person gets no notification. So you're investigating me, is people are learning things, they think they're learning things about me, I have no recourse. I don't even have a right because I don't know about it. Everyone in the world, everyone in the country can think I'm a terrorist, and I can't do a thing about it because I don't know they think that. They can't tell me.
Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects. The Patriot Act allows for the illegal search of your home and property without your knowledge or consent, and completely without a search warrant or probable cause. Certain provisions in the USA Patriot Act, like the aptly nicknamed sneak and peek provision, allow law enforcement officers to secretly enter any home in the United States for the purpose of surreptitiously gathering computer files, reading materials, and any other information about that person learned from an illegally conducted examination of their private property. Do you have anything to hide? The truth